Hi, my name is Susan Raymond, and welcome to Employment Quick Tips. I am typically here with Robin Westbrook. However, this week we have some heightened COVID restrictions and we are unable to meet together. We are both a part of the Employment Assistance Team here at the Airman Family Readiness Center located at Sheppard Air Force Base. Our employment assistance teams offer support to military spouses and transitioning service members. We provide career counseling and classes. We help with employment searches. We can help with resume writing and reviews, and we can also help you improve your interviewing skills and even give mock interviews. Be sure you like our Facebook page. We announce our upcoming classes there, and every Monday and Thursday, Robin and I post our hot jobs in the local area for our clients. So this week's topic is going to be interviewing. We've had some awesome successes lately. Well-prepared resumes have led our clients to being called for interviews, and this is great news. But some of our clients have not interviewed in many years, and some of our 20-year career transitioning service members may have never interviewed. So today we're going to discuss the format of a typical interview and how our clients can be prepared when they walk in. Common interview format is typically made up of 5 phases. The first is the introductory phase. This is where the interviewer greets you and builds rapport, and you introduce yourself. This could begin as early as when the interviewer walks out and greets you and walks you back to the interviewing room. So make sure that you have some intelligent conversation to talk with them about along the way. They've probably heard about the weather from all the other candidates before you. So try to prepare something that you could wow them with. Then once you've built rapport with them, they'll typically ask you to introduce yourself. They'll say, maybe tell me a little bit about yourself. They're not wanting an autobiography. They don't want you to start at the beginning of your life and work all the way up to the point where you're at now. They do want to hear some things about you, but what will serve your interview well is if you can match things that have happened throughout your career with things that they announced in the job announcement that they're looking for. So a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you've seen in the announcement and how your experience matches that. Be prepared. It can be prepared like a sales pitch, your name, your skills, how you use those skills, and then add in a unique selling point if you had it. So that's the introductory phase. Then they'll move on to information from the interviewer to the candidate. So usually the host will give you a little bit of background about the company, and they'll tell you a little bit about the position. So hopefully you've done your homework and you've looked into the company and you're familiar with the company and what they stand for and what the position is going to require. Then the interview moves into questions from the interviewer to the candidate. This will be the majority of the interview time. There are 2 types of questions. There's informational questions and behavioral questions. Informational questions, these are questions about you, and they are trying to determine if you're a good fit for the workplace culture. Some typical questions will be, walk me through your resume. So make sure you have a copy of that to offer them. Another good question is, what are your strengths? Make sure that you think of strengths that match the skills that they're looking for. I know it's great that you can run a marathon, but if the job does not require that, it's probably not one of the strengths that you should mention during the interview and during this question. So think about what they've asked for and how your strengths match with that. Another common question might be, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Think about this carefully. The employer wants to know that they're a part of your plan, so make sure that when you're explaining your 5-year plan, that it includes their company. And then there are sometimes off-the-wall questions that are informational questions. These you want to really think before you speak. Employers are just testing you to see how you will do under pressure. So here's a real situation that happened. An applicant was asked, if you were an animal, what kind of animal would you be? Applicant responded, a cat, because they're lazy and they can lie around. So probably this is not a skill that the hiring manager is looking for. And this is probably a situation where the applicant did not take time to think carefully about those unusual questions. So if you're asked something unusual, take your time, think about it, and then provide your answer. Next, there are also behavioral questions. Behavioral questions are based on past experiences or hypothetical situations. These are used to see how you think, problem solve, and sort things out. They can be questions like, tell me about a time when you had to deal with conflict. So you'll want to think out loud so they can see how you process. And a good idea is to use the STAR method to answer and tell a story about that time you dealt with conflict. Using the STAR method, the letters, the acronym is situation, task, action, result. So you'll share the situation, you'll talk about the task that had to be done, the action you took to complete it, and what the results were. It's a great way to answer behavioral questions. So once the questioning is over for the interviewer to the candidate, then there typically comes a phase where the candidate is given an opportunity to ask questions to the interviewer. So make sure you prepare ahead, prepare smart questions. Don't ask things that can be found at the company website or in a company brochure. And be careful, the questions that you're asking are not going to put the hiring manager on the spot. Lastly, the interview has a conclusion phase, and this is a phase where you get a chance to sell yourself. You can tell the interviewer you want the job and XYZ skills will make you an asset to the company. Rehearse your conclusion, but don't sound over-rehearsed. And then finally, make sure you thank the interviewer for the opportunity to come and interview with this company. So those are the interviewing tips that we have for you today. I hope you'll find this helpful. We do have upcoming classes on the calendar. They are the resume entry, re-entry into the workforce. This is a class to how to deal with lack of employment or gaps of employment. That's on the 21st of January from 10 to 11. USA Jobs is scheduled for the 25th of January, 1300 to 1400. This we can help you build a profile and navigate the USA Jobs website. Then we have civilian resume writing on the 26th of January, 1400 to 1500. And lastly, we do have an interviewing class coming up, Steps to Success, 28 January from 1300 to 1400. All of these classes are subject to change. At this time, we do not have in-person classes. We will run these classes virtually if we have interest. So go ahead and call 940-676-4358 to register for the class, and we will be in touch with you whether it's going to be a virtual and what platform we're using, or whether we will just work with you one-on-one for those classes. Thank you very much for tuning into our Employment Quick Tips again. Again, I'm sorry that Robin and I can't be together. We hope to be maybe next week. Until then, if you need our help, we can be reached at 940-676-4358. We are teleworking, but we can work with you over the phone, via email, or on one of our many virtual platforms. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.